All right, let's talk about serve and volley a little bit. Obviously, this won't be a comprehensive guide, but it will go over some very important things that you want to keep in mind. I honestly really think we're going to see a lot of serve and volley return even to the pro game. Not in the form that it used to be where it was on every point, but if you mix in serve and volley, even 50% of the time, I mean, you return completely different against a serve and volleyer than you do against someone who serves and stay back. And in my opinion, serving or returning is mainly a predetermined plan. You kind of want to know what you're going to do before you actually get to serve. And that's at pro tennis. At recreational tennis, it very well has a huge place in the game. And that's just where the speed of the ball changes and the tactics you use based off that critical speed versus your ability to move. You could play different tactics, and the serve and volley game has a huge place here. So I played some points where I just exclusively served and volleyed, so I could demonstrate some things, hopefully, and I obviously edited it. Try saying that, edited it, to make myself look amazing, as usual. But let's go from the beginning here, and let's just talk about the three different things that can happen when you serve and volley. When you're serving and volleying, ideally, you get a nice high floater above the level of the net that you can just crunch. Again, I recommend crunching. Pace over place. Take your racket like a wall to the ball. And this is where we see the fundamental volley really shine. If you're taught the fundamental volley is a slicing, floating, chopping down, that's typically what people will do in this situation. But this is where that true fundamental volley, which should be like a wall to the ball, flat, there's a little backswing there. But when you see pros with high, easier volleys, they will follow through. You should follow through all the way over your shoulder on high, easy volleys that you're putting away. It's not a punch, it's a flat stroke. That's the ideal situation, but you might also get a low volley. Now this is going to be a half volley. Now what's really important to note here, which I don't see very many people to do is that the racket is hooded on the half volley. That's because the ball's coming up into your racket and you have to offset that. If you hood the racket face, you can swing fast and hit hard and get a little pace and depth on your half volleys. Think a la Sampras. I'd much rather see a hooded lifting half volley than a chipping underspin volley. Now again, a note on that is that typically people that like to slice down on their backhand volleys, they'll also kind of chip under their half volleys, and that ball just floats. But you got to get a little on it on those half volleys. I'm not a master at it myself, but that's how you do a half volley. Again, that inner relationship of strokes where it's not like three completely different motor programs, a topspin backhand, a slice, a volley, and a half volley. They all have more in common than they do not. And then lastly, the last situation is a low volley. Now, these last two, the half volley and the low volley, what you'll notice that what they both have in common is they're similar to an approach shot where it's really a transition ball. I would much rather take this ball deep, right back at my opponent, where they can't get their feet set, they just have to react, take time away and angle away, and then on the next ball put it away. I'd rather do that than take this low volley. And what a lot of people do, they go, okay, well, my opponent's here, so I'm going to try to play a little touch over here away from him. It's like, well, when it's low like that, you can't really hit it hard. And it's like, well, you might make him run, but as he's running, he's preparing his racket. You've given him space down the line. He has time to mentally, cognitively think about it. Going right back at your opponent's a very powerful tool. So never be afraid to play that one more ball to set it up. So you got to practice those, though. You got to get out there and you got to practice all three types of those first balls. And that's why you're going to fail at first. But you go out, you keep practicing half volleys, high volley, low volleys, how to time your split step. And you got the serve and volley split step's a lot different than if you're already at the baseline or the net because you're trying to move through it. So it's more of a shuffle step. The goal is really to just square your feet up. So as your opponent's hitting And again, there's no rule on when to time your split step like people think, because I don't know how good your anticipation is. You might need to see more data depending on how much tennis you've played before you could time your split step. So essentially, if you're not as high level of a player, you can't split step right when your opponent's striking the ball because your brain hasn't seen enough data to know which way you're going to go in timing with that. But anyways, your feet do want to square up at some point to make a lateral change. So here the ball's kind of right at me, so I'm going to make a lateral change here to get out of the way of it. This is a complete accident volley winner. I was trying to go back deep. In fact, I probably should have played a backhand volley back deep. Everything went wrong, but I still won the point because good things happen when you're at the net. Good things happen when you're at the net. You don't have to feel bad about hitting accidental drop shot winners at the net because you're up there and they're not. Other than that, how you serve, I think, again, critical speed of the ball. If you can hit a 100-mile-an-hour serve to spots, and that's what your intention is with the serve, you don't have to worry so much about how quickly you get into the net because they're going to float the ball back. So you're going to have time to get to it. But if you can't hit spots on a 100-mile-an-hour serve, you want to be focused on tossing way inside the court, so your center of gravity is leaning forward. You don't want to get as airborne because you want to get this first step forward. You want to get this right leg to get this first step in as quick as possible so you can start making forward progress. These first couple steps are going to be huge, important, and just big before you organize those feet so you can make a lateral change. Play my first ball deep. That's just so important. But if you don't, the problem is if you don't like your volley, you're just not willing to play those extra shots. We'll shank overhead. I don't feel bad because I'm closer to the net. Good things are going to happen. Come back in, play another deep ball. I probably could have done more with this one, but you might not like to serve and volley because you don't like how quickly the point is decided, but the truth is you will lose points. You will not win all the points you play serving and volleying. But you got to just do the math. If you win 2 out of 3, you're winning the match pretty easily. So just remember, you're not going to win everything, but just don't get discouraged. Keep going. Get better at it. And you're going to win more tennis matches. Anyways, subscribe for more tennis information. Comment below if you have any questions. Disagree, agree. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Let's go.